How's it going? All right. Got a bit of entrance music. Got to have entrance music if you're in music, right? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Doug. I'm from London, and I'm here today to talk about the power of music. My passion in life has always been music, and my career so far has been as a DJ, event producer, sound designer, and all-round curator of experiences. I'm the founder and CEO of Altaura. We're a global experience design agency that specializes in music for business. This involves curating music, creating music, and pairing technology and behavioral science together so that music reaches its full potential to increase results and create better experiences. So, today we're going to talk about the relationship that music has with our senses, how music and architecture are closely linked, and how music can influence revenue, dwell time and turnover of guests, and staff and customer wellness. We're also going to see what the future of this space looks like and the relationship between music and AI. Now, does anyone here not think that music is an important part of the restaurant experience? Well, that's good. No one. That's great. Can anyone tell me what is missing here? Yeah, silence is kind of awkward, especially when you're friends with a Wookiee. We're born with two fears, falling and loud noises. It's called the acoustic startle reflex. And scientists have found that sound is the first sense that activates when we enter a space. What these two simple facts tell us is that from birth we have an innate reaction to sound. And it's one of the key indicators of any experience. Most of the time, our senses actually work together, and amazingly, they have the ability to influence each other. Incredibly, sound can actually have the ability to impact both taste and texture. Higher pitched sounds make food taste sweet. Lower pitched sounds make food taste sour, whilst dissonant, harsh sounds can enhance bitterness. There's a great study on where participants tried the same chocolates to higher-pitched music and a dissonant soundtrack, creating remarkably different flavor profiles from the same chocolates. Sound can also be used to impact crunchiness and creaminess of food items. And what's amazing about this is scientists don't actually know why this works. There's several theories about how sound either changes our preconceived ideas of flavor, to sound making us pay more attention to specific elements within complex flavors. But what we do know is that it does work. And chefs like Heston Blumenthal use particular sounds to complement signature dishes. So the next time you're reviewing your menu, think about sprinkling on some sonic seasoning. Sound also affects our emotions and our senses. This is the brain listening to the tango. Music has the ability to affect more parts of the brain than any other stimulus. In a recent study, listeners from the Congo and listeners from Canada responded to the same emotions, happiness, fear, and sadness, when listening to the same music. And this is because basic human feelings have a universal code which sound taps into. Music is so impactful on our subconscious that it's actually used to battle one of the most debilitating diseases. There are around 5 million people in America with dementia. Music records itself into our emotions and emotions throughout our lives. It's these emotions that are stored within the brain and remembered. Hence why when you play music to an Alzheimer's patient, you see this incredible reaction. It looks like the patient's woken up a younger part of themselves that's not affected by the disease. Go and check out this documentary, Alive Inside. It follows social worker Dan Cohen playing music to patients, and it's an incredible insight into the power of music. It really proves that music is an intrinsic ingredient as to what makes us human. You will cry, warning. The brain processes all of our sensory inputs together to create our experiences. Think about the amount of investment that you've made in taste, touch, vision, and smell. How many of you are doing the same for sound? And if not, why not? The progression of music throughout history has a close relationship with architecture. Certain types of music work better for specific buildings and spaces. This example shows how you can change the experience of a space by adding curtains to soak up sound so that there's less reverb. But you might want more reverb. A choir singing an aria inside a cathedral sounds beautiful because of the reverb. The hard floors, benches, tall open ceilings let sound travel freely. And they did this intentionally so that the sound would carry further and closer to God. In contrast, rap and hip hop sound great in the car. And that's because they've been made in padded studios that kill any natural reverb and soak up the bass. So if you're playing hip hop or modern pop music in your restaurants, you need to try and recreate some of that environment in order for it to sound like it should. Have you ever been in a restaurant where everyone starts to get louder and louder and talk over each other? It's called the Lombard effect. Background music helps combat this by setting a level that we all subconsciously stick to. And recently, at-home sound systems have got a lot better. So your guests are expecting a better quality of sound when they visit. Now, interestingly, it's better to buy more speakers than fancier speakers to effectively spread sound in a space. And if you don't spread sound effectively in a space, some tables are going to be louder than others, making it very difficult to create a uniform experience. We also show a preference for richer, more vibrant colors the louder the music is. This is why it's really important that you think of the experience you want to deliver first and then design around that. Your interior design has to match your sonic design in order to create experiences where you can influence human behavior successfully. So the music has a fundamental impact on lots of KPIs, but I'm going to concentrate on these three main ones. Revenue, dwell time and turnover of guests, and staff and customer wellness. And when you look at the science, the numbers really start to add up. One of the most comprehensive studies done in music in restaurants was with McDonald's in Sweden. The wrong music, which was popular top 100 tracks, actually decreased sales by 4.3%. And with the right music, sales increased by 4.8%. That's a 9.1% swing. Show of hands here, who knows what kind of music is playing in their restaurants right now? Only a couple of you. Interesting. Now, some of you might have seen this study before. So we actually conducted our own studies in this area to test this. Over 2 months, we changed the music in a casual dining restaurant. During the first month, we played the top 100 most popular tunes. In the second month, we played on-brand music. The number of customers who bought a dessert increased by 12%. This equates to $800 a month of income just on desserts. And we didn't even measure alcohol. And that's only in one location. And that's only in one sitting. And it's not just on-brand music that affects revenue. Volume is a big factor. And studies have even proven that lyrical content can boost the sale of particular items mentioned. You spend 15 minutes longer in a space with the right music, the right tempo and volume. If you notice the music, you're more aware of time passing. It's kind of like being in Vegas with no clocks on the wall. Unfamiliar music subconsciously tricks you into not realizing that the time is passing. Volume also affects choices. Higher volume music tends to enhance excitement levels, and this is because it has a direct impact on heart rate and arousal, which leads to unhealthier food choices. Lower volume music has the opposite effect. So, use lower volumes to sell healthier food options. You can make people eat faster, buy more items, and speed up wait times simply with the right tempo at the right time. And we did a case study with a brand who said that we don't need any more guests. The queue is massive, and it's too long. We need people to move faster. And once we implemented faster tempos at higher volumes at specific times of day, average wait time decreased, average ticket spend increased, and the staff felt happier and more motivated. And this is a great example of how you can solve operational issues and hit better sales targets just by changing the music. Remember, if you don't look at the problem from an experience point of view, you're probably negatively impacting your guests and ultimately your bottom line. And the music isn't just for your guests, it's for your staff too. 95% of Gen Zers are able to work faster and focus better in the presence of music. This means your younger team will perform better in the right atmosphere. And there are 5 proven areas where music impacts your wellness in a space. It reduces our creeping boredom and negative emotions. It blocks disruption and anxiety triggers. It encourages relaxation and positivity. It makes our surroundings more attractive, like beer goggles. And in a social setting, we feel less lonely, less watched, and less self-conscious when the music is playing. We actually just recently worked with Freebirds here in Texas to improve their staff wellness and retention. And the key ways in which we did this was to work collaboratively with their restaurant teams. If you want to find out more about this, come and chat to me afterwards in the next coffee break. Freebird staff retention has improved simply by changing the music. We now get regular feedback that the music helps motivate the team and makes them feel more part of the Freebirds mission. And also, the staff don't try and DJ anymore. So choosing the right tracks at the right time for the right space is essential to using music successfully. And changing the genre, tempo, and volume can also impact guest behaviors. Together, they're constantly affecting your overall customer experience. And what this shows is that you should think of sound in your spaces because it says more to the subconscious of your guests than you think. So the more strategic that you can get on successfully using these tools to create the right atmosphere, the better results you're going to get. Algorithms. So whilst algorithms are great, right now, they're not a substitute for human creativity. And I think there's actually a lack of detail with the current software as a service business model that the restaurant industry is used to with background music. Interestingly, today, I've been talking to people about it, and they've said things like, yeah, we don't really know what music we play, but we play good music, or we have all the music that we can choose within our restaurant. So yeah. The big issue with AI in music is the problem of categorization and labeling. Think of it like this. When you're in the house and you can smell a lovely stew cooking, you just smell one smell. Your dog smells it too, but in a very different way. The dog separates what we consider the stew into variable different components, onion, carrot, potato, beef, so on, and he chooses what to concentrate on. That's why he can find your Maui Wowie in the airport. As humans, you're experiencing so many data points mixed together when just listening to one song. And on top of that, Emotional reactions from one person to another can be so varied because of their own experiences. This makes it really, really hard to categorize music successfully, leading to a lot of mistakes in the data. And algorithms curate based on data, not the overall emotional connection and nuance that a human uses. You need humans to know and understand the emotions within music to be able to effectively curate a sound that's going to influence people. An example of this, we started working with a very cool juice bar, and they've been using an algorithm to curate the music. They'd asked for happy, fun, uplifting music, but they kept hearing Baby Shark. Now, if you don't know what Baby Shark is, it's like a more annoying version of It's a Small World. So the AI is not wrong, but it doesn't fully understand the emotional connection and context of that song. So the future. In the near future, we're going to have systems that use IoTs as triggers. And in Stockholm, we're actually testing a new system that automates volume depending on how many people are within the space. We're also testing a system that can measure the cadence of people's voices within a space, and that helps us determine how happy or sad they are, which can provide us with more data on how to effectively curate for that space. We're now working on the Setas de Sevilla in Seville. It's the world's largest wooden structure that you can walk around to view the city. It's incredible. And we're working with human-curated soundscapes that change due to multiple site-specific data inputs: wind, temperature, where the sun is in the sky, how many people, etc. Ultimately, though, all of these systems are still using human design and creativity that's triggered by data inputs and algorithms, so that the robots haven't actually taken over just yet. So what does this all mean for you? Ultimately, if you're not competing on price or product, you're competing on experience. Right now, it's really tough to be the cheapest on the market, and it's really tough to be the best product. But you can compete on experience. And people don't just choose price anymore. They choose sustainability, brand ethics, the experience. Ultimately, how are they treated by the brand? And how does it make them feel? MRC is the most comprehensive global provider of data and analytics to the entertainment and music industry. And in a recent study, they found that 81% of people say they notice the music being played in a restaurant. 96.4% of people notice the music in a bar. Let's start paying attention to the details and the experiences, because it's the easiest and quickest way to transform your business. So we've talked about how music can impact your senses, your emotions, and your brain, how you can use music to get better results across the board, and the difficulties of relying on AI, and how it still relies on humans to create influential experiences. But if you learn anything from today, please take away these key facts with you. Sound is the first sense that activates when we enter a space. Sound subconsciously influences human behavior. And if you can't compete on price or product, compete on experience. And if you're still not convinced on just how important the sound is, imagine instead of Vader's infamous Imperial March, he had this. Thank you very much for having me. You can scan this QR code, and all of the stuff that I've spoken about today is up on there. I'm going to be around for the next few days, So come say hi. I really want to learn what music you're playing in your restaurants. Thanks.
Everybody, Doug Marshall, thanks so much.